What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video. This video is going to be looking at Manchester United and how Erik ten Hag is going to bring them right back to the top and bring success back to Manchester United. Now, before we get into the match, I'm using Keyframe to make this video. Check out both my books and my new tactics course in the description below. All those links can be found in the description, so check that out, and let's get right into the tactics behind the Manchester derby. So Manchester United, they started their build up with a back four that saw the fullbacks play in a wider area. Now this would then quickly go into a direct route where they would play a 4-3-3 and try and close the space to secure the second ball. Now Manchester City pressed very high that forced Manchester United to play long, and they played in a 4-4-2 or 4-2-4. The two strikers were very aggressive, with De Bruyne and Haaland looking to apply pressure to the first line and take away Casemiro, the holding midfielder. Foden and Mahrez also played very aggressively and a little bit more narrow, so they could press potentially the central defender and the fullback. So this aggressive press forced Manchester United to play direct from their first third. Now in the midfield third, we saw something a little bit different from Erik ten Hag and this Manchester United team. We saw Manchester United go with more of a diamond shape in midfield, with Fred on the left side playing more as an 8, Christian Eriksen as the 10, and Bruno Fernandes on the right side in the half space playing more advanced than Fred, making him play more as an attacking midfielder between the lines. Then for the width, Malacia created versatility to allow Marcus Rashford to isolate himself in the wide area against the fullback for Manchester City, but also this left side position suited Marcus Rashford really well because he's able to make inverted runs and target the half spaces between the central defender and the fullback. So this area is a situation that he's very good at, and his pace in behind could threaten in behind, creating space for the players between the lines for Manchester United. Now on this right hand side, we see Wan-Bissaka creating the width and a little bit of asymmetry within this Manchester United side, because with Wan-Bissaka creating width, Bruno Fernandes could stay in a more inverted position in attacking midfield role, allowing him to get on the ball in dangerous areas to then support the attack going forward and create more dangerous situations. Manchester City tried to stop this with a 4-4-2, and again their defensive phase was very aggressive. Their two strikers, Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland, in the defensive phase looked to apply pressure to the central defenders, while the midfielders combined man orientation and spatial orientation to allow them to stagger themselves and look to apply pressure early and high up the field, allowing them to win the ball in Manchester United's first and second line of build-up to allow them to promote fast transition and get players like Erling Haaland on the ball in behind the defense. Then their back four also stayed more spatially oriented, trying to deal with the threat in behind from Marcus Rashford and Martial, who would then be subbed off earlier in the game. In the defensive phase, this is what made Manchester United so successful. They started with a 4-2-3-1 in their first third of pressing that allowed the two holding midfielders to take care of the attacking midfielders from Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. And the versatility from these two attacking midfielders for Manchester City made it very hard for any two holding midfielders in the world to defend against, because they can adjust the shape, change positions so frequently that it can be hard to set up against them, because the shape would change so much that you could concede space in different areas. But they did really well by splitting their two holding midfielders, allowing each to occupy a half space and allowing a central defender to jump to Haaland, not allowing him to drop deeper and get on the ball for third man concepts. This also isn't his game, so Erling Haaland coming deeper is much less of a threat than him running in behind and finding space in behind. From Manchester City, their back four, we see wide fullbacks looking to try and create space and create positional superiority against the wingers from Manchester United, looking to create third man concepts to progress the ball. Now our last picture, when Manchester United defended deeper, City had the ball in the midfield third. Now Manchester United had a very vertically compact shape, and we'll talk about their horizontal compactness and how it's a little bit different than usual in just a second. But the asymmetric back four from Manchester City gave Manchester United some problems, with them having to change width in the wide area, with Marcus Rashford having to play more narrow, with Malacia being drawn out wide, creating gaps between the central defender and fullback that Erling Haaland didn't quite exploit as he has done for most of the year. Then we see Rodri at the base of a midfield diamond, which is a role he's very comfortable in playing, and he's done so throughout the whole of the season. So this three-man back line and Rodri would look to create superiority on the two central first line of press for Manchester United, looking to get on the ball and progress the ball diagonally into the half spaces. But now we're going to look at Manchester United's defensive setup and how they stopped Manchester City. Manchester United's back four saw the fullbacks play a little bit wider, allowing for them to create space between the fullback and central defender. So this didn't become dangerous because Manchester United also split their two holding midfielders, Casemiro and Fred, allowing one central defender to jump to Erling Haaland, so he wasn't able to get on the ball free between the lines, even though this isn't what exactly Manchester City are looking for. But still, it was a good approach because Manchester City couldn't use third man concepts from central defenders to Erling Haaland and access Rodri behind the first line of pressure. So this disconnection between holding midfielders gave Manchester United more stability in the half spaces and allowed the wide midfielders, Marcus Rashford and in this case Bruno Fernandes, to press higher up the field and potentially even press the central defenders from out to in and look to create a positive transition with Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Rashford and Martial all in the first line of pressure for Manchester United, creating dangerous transitions. And this is where we're going to wrap up the analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.